Still, I think it's a valid recommendation. If the implementation is problematic, that's fair enough. But that's not necessarily what it's not for us to decide the implementation. I think it's in principle it's a solid recommendation. Okay, we had the first one is to engage with the Berkshire Cross-Borough Water and Sewage Partnership. I mean, we discussed this before. I introduced the link, the Berkshire Leaders Forum, as a potential for facilitating this engagement. Are there any comments on this recommendation? Are you happy with it? Not so happy?
Is Mary happy to take that forward for us? Has she been approached for her thoughts?
I shared it with her, and I briefly touched upon that the last council meeting. I think she was happy enough with it. So it's nothing which I'd say is against her agenda or inconveniences her. It links up with the work plan which she already has. It can be wrapped in. It might need some extra organizational effort, but then it's a cross-borough thing. So the effort does not necessarily have to be carried in full by Brighton Forest Council.
Sounds good.
Yep. Okay, I move on to number 2. This is to nominate an officer as touchpoint for local water quality issues. We have somebody to look after drainage because it's a statutory duty, I believe. We have nobody who looks after the water quality, and given that this is a very sore spot for our residents, I think this is would be really important. Okay. I hear no comments, so moving on to review the planning procedures. To review planning procedures, ensuring load on sewage treatment works is minimized. This is also linking to the Oxfordshire and Thames Water issue to evaluate their approach and review local planning regulation to minimize impact of new developments. This is to a large extent, I think, already implemented with the exception of the Oxfordshire link. But I think it's a good recommendation and something which can be carried out without too much fuss. And the last one is to make the aggregated information on current water quality accessible to residents and other stakeholders. The idea is there are so many sources from so many, there are really a lot of sources which publish a report on water quality. It's all disjointed, and with up to date or with modern data management software, it's quite simple to pull it all together and present it on a charming dashboard for residents to see. How this is done, I think this is up in the air. I think there are plenty of, I mean, some of our councillors could do that. Certainly, our civil servants could do that. It's a good idea, but it has the attraction of being open to suggestions for implementation. So we could make that a school project if you want to. We could make it a uni project. There's opportunity around that. Excuse me, my voice is a bit dodgy today.
You and me both. So are we proposing we're actually going to go ahead with this or suggest that this is made to happen then?
That's what I would suggest, yes.
Within the council, we'd be looking after it, either officers or maybe, I don't know if we can actually get councillors to do it, although we physically can. I don't know if we can insist we do that.
Frankly, the framework is, I think, as far as I understand, it's relatively easy to set up to pull the data from the internet automatically and then pull together a dashboard. I've got a couple of colleagues at work which quite likely would do that in an hour or two, and if told where to look. So it's not super complex. It's just something which really has added value, and maybe somebody else has already done it, and we can just inherit the approach from others.
Okay.
So that's the 4 recommendations. Any objections, comments, further comments on those? Any additional recommendations you feel we should be making?
Are they direct enough? I mean, I agree with them all, but are they direct enough? Do they say exactly what we're saying? I mean, we talk about these smart targets. Do they count as the smart targets?
I think no, I don't think they're precise in that way. I don't think they would qualify like that. I think it needs the reason for that. Obviously, it needs it's a recommendation to the executive, which is considered for implementation. So I do not believe we can tell the executive exactly what to do, but we are making recommendations, which are then translated to policy by the executive, through the executive. That's their job, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We looked into the evidence. That's the recommendations, and I think it takes another step to precise it, but it's in itself, it's a good overview of what the hell is going on with the sewage.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Adrian, happy to for suggestions and by from all of you, obviously, make them as a comment. Have a think. Don't feel pressurized. Get yourself a cup of tea and a wee quiet hour and get cracking on it.
I guess some of them are very. I guess some of them are very clear. So, for instance, point 2, nominate an officer. That's a very clear one. That's very direct. The first one, to engage with Berkshire Cross-Borough Water and Sewage Partnership, it's not really direct as to, we know roughly what we want to do, but we're not talking about who the partnership is, what the partnership is. I guess we mentioned the Leaders Forum, but what do we mean by engage? Are we talking about having regular meetings? Are we talking about setting up groups Berkshire-wide? Does there need to be a bit more detail on that? And similar to point 3, to review planning procedures, it's quite wishy-washy almost to just say review planning procedures. Do we need to actually be a bit more direct about?
Maybe if you have a better phrasing, I'm all ears.
Yeah.
You don't have to come up with it right now.
As far as point 3 goes, the Thames Water will say, yeah, the load on the treatment works is fine. It's only when we get the flood events that cause this to be a problem. So maybe we need to put that in context of it. It should be suitable to cope with, I don't know, the annual flood events we're getting, or
Yeah, in my eyes, it was more forward planning. So if we have anything new coming up, and we are say our local plan is reviewed at some point in the future, that we consider the load on the sewage works as one criterion for the local plan.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that now every time a named storm, sometimes even not even a named storm comes through, we're discharging. It's just ridiculous.
It's a god awful mess.
Yeah.
Sorry.
In more ways
my
than
language.
Boys, that's what I mentioned earlier. They should not, if their plan cannot cope with what is being designed, then there should be a look at their plans even coping with the new developments that are coming on board, because they can't brush it aside and say, oh, it's down to you lot, I've given the planning permission. It should be that they should be looking at they should be part of the requirements to state that they can cope with what is being put forward as well.
Yeah, but then I think the way it is, they state that they can cope, then the Environment Agency imposes some targets on them. They are regulated in a way that Ofwat looks into the investment plan to determine whether the planned works lead to a sewage system which is compliant with with the crikey, with DEFRA's Environment Agency targets, and they build it, and then it doesn't really work. They get fined, and I think it's a jolly go round, and the whole regulatory situation is completely shot. Sorry, this is
Yes. No, I absolutely agree, Christoph. But I absolutely agree with Dot that unless the plans are fit for purpose, we do not pass them in future. They really have to be.
Yeah, the problem is quite likely that we will have not. We won't have the powers to do anything about that, and that's the deficit of the system, isn't it?
Well, no, at the grassroots, we are sitting on a committee that's looking after our residents, say for 100 houses. The first thing we're going to ask them is, what is your infrastructure like? And that will include, going forward, your water, your sewage, any of that associated. It has to be more than fit for purpose, frankly, nowadays.
Yeah, and then
Sorry,
no, that's all right, just playing advocatus diaboli here. Okay, we say, please prove to us that your system is fit for purpose, and they go back into their little ivory tower and come back with a calculation and say, okay, look, we say it's fit for purpose. We can hit the regulatory targets, which is 24 discharges a year max. If we do 25, we are paying $1 million, and who cares? And so you will get in writing that they comply with the requirements, but this doesn't really help us because they comply with the requirements as they are. It's just that the whole situation they find themselves in is leading to
so there's no monitoring system. We can put these things that we can say at that level, you can't do this, and they go away, say, of course we can do this. Do we trust these people? That's what we're thinking.
I made statements to that effect, that it's disjointed, and I think we need to improve the situation. I can't say here, I can't put in this report what I think about the situation, because again, it needs to be evidence-based, and I think that's as far as we can go. If you have a stronger wording which you think appropriate, please add it, and I'm more than happy to consider that. I can guarantee you I'm at least as annoyed about the situation as you are. Okay, so that's the recommendations. We have agreed high level on the recommendations. An improvement in wording might be required. Esther, I'm not quite sure if that's what you wanted to achieve, but I think that's the best we can do today.
That's fine.
Okay. I would like to, unless you object, I would like to close the Thames Water part of the meeting tonight. There's a second part dealing with what else we want to do going forward, and I have to candidly admit I have prepared exactly nothing for that. So at the moment, I'm very much focused on this report, seeing it becoming live, dealing with the impact, and then maybe also looking into stage 2 of this report as a follow-up over, I'll say, late spring, summer. We have tentatively agreed on a couple of on a work plan for overview and scrutiny, oversight, overview. Getting confused. Anyway, that's age. No, never mind. I don't have it to hand. I can't quote it from memory. I suggest we get this out of the door, and then we review, we regroup and review what we want to do next. That's my proposal, and I think we can have this conversation again. I think in March or April, when we've got this item out of the door and have the energy and to tackle something new. Okay. Anything else from anyone?
No. Thanks for doing this, Christoph. You're an absolute star.
You are, darling. Can I just bring one thing up? Just throwing it out there at you all. Well, us. Car emissions whilst parking round school pickup time.
No. No. not idling. No, I've just answered a flipping traffic survey. I just don't want to do traffic. Can we stop? Can we stop there? I've just done that for about 3 hours
Just something
today.
I just wanted to bring up, okay?
Right, you brought it up, Doc. We'll do it another day.
Okay.
So
Thank-
Christoph, yeah, well done. This report looks really good.
Yes.
It's getting there.
Thank you.
It's really
Yeah.
At
impressive.
least we have started, okay?
Yeah.
That's the important part.
Mm.
Because
think
if
it
we
needs-
don't put the marker down, and
Yeah.
I do say the planning one is the issue, we
Mm.
will not start anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely agree.
I
Okay?
think there's plenty of opportunity. Sorry, Adrian. Just want to say this. Apologies, Adrian. I just want to say there's plenty of opportunities for following up on that report. And no, thanks for the compliments, but I still think it needs a bit of polish. So this is what you're seeing as the first draft. So I'll cross the T's, dot the I's, and make it look nice and shiny. But Adrian,
Okay.
apologies for interrupting you earlier. You wanted to
That's
say
all right. I think I probably interrupted you actually. I mean, the planning's one side of it. The planning's, I guess, the kind of the steady state, how well the system can cope.
Mm.
It's when we get the rainfall that we flood the system. That's when we get the overflows and stuff. And it's because they just haven't built it to cope with this amount of water. And so these upgrades are important. You know, but yeah.
The important thing is, honestly, what I really think is this nominated officer, this is crucial because we need to collect the evidence that the system is not working. And unless this is all dispersed all over the place, or look, we flooded for 6 hours here and blah, 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 nothing to see, just move on, we're getting nowhere. It's important to see where the switch system fails, where we have discharges, where we simply have poo in the fields, excuse the language, but I hope the little one is blocking his ears or her ears. And we need to create this data. Once we have it, we have a handle on, and we can do something because we can bang the drum and say, look, it's a scandal, something needs to be done. The more people we can get into that, that's also with the Berkshire cross Berkshire system. The more people can get to buy into this recording, the better. It's about creating the pressure. I think this is. I mean, clearly, as Lib Dems, we campaigned for that. I'm quite sure that Conservatives would like to see it as well, this to be improved, Labour as well. And I think, Adrian, to you, it's also close to heart.
Absolutely.
It's something which definitely needs improvement. And everybody, I think, candidly agrees that it really needs improvement. Okay, unless there's anything else, I would like to close the meeting now and give you back a bit of time.